Turn the love up a little bit louder. Rep the king just a little bit prouder. Putting hope on the radio. See why? Gonna let them know it's the inspirational power hour.
You are listening to the Inspirational Power Hour podcast with your host, Chandra Wise. Now, this is a place where we go behind gospel music and we talk to the artists and the songwriters and the producers, the community that loves and supports the genre. And every now and again, you'll hear stories and people that will uplift and inspire you. Today is absolutely no different. Now, today I'm talking to gospel recording artist and songwriter, award-winning songwriter, Darius Paulk, and he's talking about his latest single, On and On. He's also sharing his songwriting journey about how he has been able to use his gifts for so many of the gospel artists that we know and love, and he's brought us some of the greatest hits in gospel music, and we're going to be talking about all of that. Now, as always, make sure to stay connected on Instagram and on Twitter. You can follow at Chandra Wise. And on Facebook, make sure to like the Inspirational Power Hour fan page. Now, let's get right into my conversation with Darius Paulk.
It's the Inspirational Power Hour.
You're listening to the Inspirational Power Hour with your host, Chandra Wise. And listen, guys, today I have a very special guest with me today hanging out. Now, this gentleman has penned some of gospel music's most powerful, I want to say most classic and iconic songs of this generation. And he keeps getting better and better and keeps bringing us great gospel music. And today he's back to talk about his latest single, On and On. And guys, I'm talking about none other than Darius Paulk. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks so much for taking time and for hanging out with me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I think this is your first time on the show, correct?
Yes.
So Darius, I was just reading a little bit of your background. You started very early in your age in gospel music, but I would love it if you would just take a moment and share with our listeners how you got started.
How I got started in gospel music, or how I got started singing?
Sing a little of both. Give us both.
I started singing at a very young age. My first solo was "I'll Say Yes, Lord, Yes" at 4 years old. I think my entrance into the industry was because I wrote "Nobody Greater" for Vashawn. That kind of made people kind of know who I was after that.
Right.
So that was my entrance into the industry. Nobody Greater. And then my first solo was at 4 years old. "I'll Say Yes, Lord, Yes."
And since then, you've continued to write for some of gospel music's, most well-known artists. Can you tell us some of the other songs that we would know that you've written?
I guess most recently will be Tamala Mann's "Through It All."
Right.
And Tamala Mann's "Through It All," Jason Nelson, "So in Love," Marvin Sapp, "Deeper," and yeah.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Right. So with your writing style, when you're writing, are you writing with a specific artist in mind, or are you writing for yourself? How does that go?
It just varies. Sometimes I write with a specific artist in mind, or sometimes I write for a certain type of voice.
Right.
And then sometimes I'm just writing just to kind of get that creative itch scratched.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it varies.
Yeah. So what has this season been like for you this year? Have you been able to be as creative as you would like during this season, with everything looking so differently in 2020?
It's been a very quiet 6 months for me.
Yeah.
I haven't really been creating. I've been more so just prayerful about, keeping my spirit clean and keeping my mind optimistic on just better days. But I've kind of gotten some work in here and there, but it's been a fairly quiet year for me thus far. It's picking up now.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to see what God says in this next season that's coming for me.
Absolutely. Because I know everybody, responds differently. This year has definitely interrupted so many of our routines,
Yeah, it's definitely kind of made everybody kind of just augment, the way that we do things. And I think that, every once in a while you need a good shakeup to kind of keep you on your feet. So that's how I'm trying to look at it as, God just shook us up, for a specific reason. And we're going to see, what the purpose of it was, in a little while.
Absolutely. Because we got to believe there's a purpose. Absolutely.
Yeah, there has to be a purpose for everything. Mm-hmm.
So before we jump into your latest release and your new single, just one more question about your particular writing style. Who has influenced you the most as a songwriter?
I have many, many influences, but I think one of the who's influenced me the most would be probably Andre Crouch. I really, early on in my kind of forming my style or how I wanted to write, I listened to a lot of Andre Crouch, like early Andre Crouch. So I think if anybody has had the most impact on my writing style, it would probably be him.
All right. So guys, again, I'm talking to Darius Paulk, and we are talking about his new single, On and On. Now tell us about this song, Darius.
On and On is really a love song to God from me to him, and it's an answer to Jeremiah 3:31-3, where it says that with an everlasting love I've loved thee. The Spirit of God speaks to Jeremiah in a time where there was a lot of racial tension, a lot of social and economic depravities for a certain group of people in that time. And in the midst of all of that, in that very just kind of confusing, icky atmosphere, God chose us to say to Jeremiah that with an everlasting love I love thee. That means that no matter what's going on, no matter how bad things may seem, that the love of God is going to always continue for us. And so On and On for me is a song that I wrote back to God to let him know that in the midst of everything, that my love will go on and on and on, because I know that his love is the thing that fuels me to keep getting up every morning, being optimistic, looking for a brighter day. And, I hope everybody enjoys it.
All right, and we're going to take a listen to it in just a little bit, guys. So make sure that you stick around for that. Now, this song is off your latest release, which happened earlier this year, entitled Strong. Now, tell us about that complete body of work. For those people that may have heard it, may not have heard it, what else can they get from that body of work?
Strong is just I'm glad you called it that. It definitely is a body of work for us. We took my producing partner, Kurt Canhigh, and I, we took about maybe 3 or 4 years and just kind of carefully crafted the record together, because we wanted to be, all-encompassing. We understand now that we're living in a very digital age, right, where people can just go to your record and not get the whole record, but they can just buy one song or buy two of the songs that they like and just leave the other ones. So I wanted to be very all-encompassing and put something on the record for everybody. So if you came and you listened down the record and you say, okay, I like this and this and this one, then those are the ones that I wrote for you. If you didn't like number 5 and number 7, then maybe somebody else will like those songs. But I want it to be very just kind of all-encompassing as it related to how we put it together. And I think we came up with a pretty great record.
Now, Darius, you are also the worship leader at House of Hope in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor E. Dewey Smith. Tell us how this season has been for you guys with all these changes.
Well, I'm one of we have a worship team. So I'm one of the worship leaders at House of Hope, where I'm also a member.
Okay.
Pastor Smith is my pastor. So I'm just grateful to be at a church that we have always had a very good media team. So the transition from regular church to virtual church really wasn't seamless, but it wasn't a hard transition for us,
right,
because we've always done a lot of things digitally with the Hope TV that we have that plays during church and all that stuff. So it's been a pretty seamless transition for us from real church to virtual church. But all of us are missing being back in the church.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the church. So
fellowship.
yeah. So we've done well with it. We understand that it's touching, many lives, probably many more than we would have touched on a Sunday morning or a Wednesday night. So I'm grateful to be a part of a church that cares about that type of thing. And we've done well with it, I think.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, guys, again, I'm talking to Darius Paulk, and we are talking about his latest single, On and On, which we are about to take a listen to. But before we do, Darius, tell everybody how they can follow you and keep up with you online. You
can find me, I will say you can find me in the A. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all the same handle, at Darius Paulk, DariusPaulk.
I love that consistency, sir. Thank you for that. That's simple. All right. Yeah. All right, guys, listen, make sure that you check it out, as well as, check out some of the other songs that he's written. Such a, like I said, amazing songwriter. And we're so excited to see what's coming next, what you're going to give us next. So congratulations on everything. And
Thank you.
Listen, make sure that you come back and let us know what else you have going on, sir.
I definitely will. Thank you for that.
All right, guys, thank you so much for checking out my conversation with Darius Paulk. Make sure that you are following and connected online. On Instagram and Twitter, follow at Chandra Wise, ChandraWise. And on Facebook, make sure to like the Inspirational Power Hour fan page. Now, guys, as always, make sure that you stay focused, stay encouraged, stay safe. Have a good one, and I will see you next time. It's the Inspirational Power